WWE have reportedly been advised against using Brock Lesnar. Elsewhere, a departing WWE superstar makes a shock indie appearance, and Bryan Danielson was advised not to wrestle before AEW All In. It's all in the wrestling news. Hello everyone, Jack and Ross here with the wrestling news. Triple H was speaking to the Daily Mail on Friday during the tour he's done of London, which involved meeting the Mayor of London.
And holding a massive life-size replica title.
Little tiny belt. Why couldn't they have brought him a big one? I don't understand. If you agree to hold WrestleMania in your city, then we'll give you a big one. Maybe
that is the clause, yeah.
Maybe. But he also spoke to the Daily Mail during this time and was asked about Brock Lesnar and the likelihood of him returning.
And this is what you said. You have to ask Brock Lesnar that. Brock does his own thing. He's up in Canada watching his kids play hockey and enjoying life. If and when he decides that he would like to do something, we'd be open to the conversation, but we'll see.
Now, there's a slightly different slant to this story coming out of the Wrestling Observer Radio because obviously Brock Lesnar was kind of referenced, or it was pretty obviously him, wasn't it? There was only one person in the world who would fit the description that was mentioned in the lawsuit going on from Janelle Grant against Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis and WWE. And, on the Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer said something a bit different.
Yeah, he says, if Brock Lesnar calls WWE and goes, I want to come back for WrestleMania this year, I was told that the lawyers advised nothing to do with Brock right now. Then sort of Meltzer turns into Rambling Rabbit saying, well, how long is too long in terms of, or how long is long enough in terms of not using Brock Lesnar for the stuff to pass and for all that stuff to happen. And then he comes back in and saying that could change, because of course he does. It's Dave Meltzer. They could go in there and say it's been enough time. If he comes back, it's because the lawyers have okayed it. If he doesn't come back, it's because they haven't. So the crucial part of the story here is lawyers have said, WWE, do not use this man. It's not worth it, bruv.
Surely not, especially when it's all still ongoing as well in court and everything. But I'm sure there'll be more on that situation as and when it develops. Elsewhere, it was Josh Barnett's Bloodsport over the weekend. Ross. Sorry, I know I got so aggressive.
Do you want to fight with me?
It was bloody Bloodsport. And various WWE superstars were involved. That were already mentioned, but there was a bit of a surprise as well. Shayna Baszler was one of the announced stars. She made it 2-0 in Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, defeating Miyu Yamashita with a tombstone piledriver. The Creed brothers were there as well. They both had singles matches. One of them defeated Matt Makatowski, and one beat Filthy Tom Lawler.
He's not the guy who advised the company to use Brock Lesnar.
And Charlie Dempsey was there, but he lost. So Royce Isaacs.
He's got stuff going on. There's the whole, has he done it, has he not done it in terms of the murder of Damon Kemp?
Yeah.
We know that Ren Sinclair has seen him do it, allegedly, potentially, just the way he's acting. So he's got a lot on his mind.
She's trying to force her way into the stable. If you don't watch NXT, we'd strongly recommend you do, because it's like EastEnders in wrestling.
Yes, it is.
It is fantastic. There was also a surprise appearance at Bloodsport as well.
Yes, MVP was the one who rocked up and confronted Josh Barnett after his match with Bad Dude Tito. MVP revealed he got his black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he said he recently got his contract was expiring with the company, the WWE as well. MVP said he wasn't ready to retire and challenged Josh Barnett to a future Bloodsport match, and Barnett, he bloody accepted, didn't he?
It's also worth mentioning that although MVP did, as Ross say, mention that his contract was expiring, he didn't mention WWE by name. Shady.
Where else could it be? His contract expiring.
Well, yeah, but I just think maybe the fact that he didn't name them maybe adds further credence to the reports that he's not going to renew his contract.
Oh, he's a little bit sour about the whole situation. Are you telling me there, Jack?
That's what I'm just speculating. I don't know. It was also reported last week that MVP and Bobby Lashley were due to depart WWE in August when their contracts expire, with some reporting that they'd possibly reunite with Shelton Benjamin as the Hurt Business elsewhere. Possibly. This was other reports saying possibly even in AEW.
Yes. Yes. I don't know what else you say about that. There are rumours afloat.
Moving from talking about superstars leaving WWE to one who seems very much to be on her way very, very soon. We're going to be talking now about Giulia, formerly of Stardom, now of the Marigold promotion.
Yes.
But she took to Twitter to share some news.
She says, we have an announcement to make to everyone at Hurricane Hall. Let me say it with my own mouth and look into your faces. Numerous sources have said this announcement will be her timeline in Japan coming to an end, and in turn, her NXT debut. She has been mentioned by Roxanne Perez's mouth, by Roxanne Perez's voice, voice, along with, as Matthew called her, Stephen Vaquer on the wrestling, on the Cultaholic Wrestling podcast very recently. So it looks like Giulia is going to go to NXT sooner rather than later.
There was also an update on this story from Figure 4 Online saying, I was told yesterday that the Marigold promotion thought that it would be the end of August that Giulia would be leaving, but she's under contract to WWE, so whenever WWE wants to start her, that's when she's going. The announcement will be made. She's probably going to say, I'm leaving for WWE, and she's going to have the date, and it's coming up very, very soon, and she'll be starting off in NXT, because there's always speculation when a big name signs, are they going to be one of the rare ones that gets to skip NXT and go straight to the main roster? Gets to, as if it's a treat. No.
To treat to be in NXT.
The delight of being in NXT, absolutely.
Working with Chef Michaels on the weekly, could you imagine the honour it would be to work with Chef Michaels?
It must be amazing.
It makes you wonder, will she win her first feud coming in against Roxanne Perez? And will it just be against Roxanne Perez, or will Stephanie Vaquer also be involved in said feud, because she has been mentioned in the same promos as Giulia by Roxanne?
Yeah, there's a lot of big names and a lot of big options coming up for them, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens. Heading over now to AEW, an absent AEW star returned, but not at AEW, at the Ring of Honor TV tapings.
Yeah, Dustin Rhodes was having his arse handed to him by the Dark Order, and Sammy Guevara, wearing pants that shouldn't have allowed him to do the moves he was doing. He hit that ring like a bloody train, so he did, and he saved Dustin Rhodes from getting his arse handed to him, as I said, wearing pants, which should have restricted his movement, but they did not.
So I think two big things there. One, he seems to be a face now. He's come back as a face, saving Dustin Rhodes, who, as Dustin Rhodes told us, is the greatest legend of all time.
He is
brilliant. He is brilliant. It's Dustin Rhodes. So Sammy seems to be a face now. And secondly, is this... Because this... Returning on Ring of Honor is definitely a choice there by Tony Khan, and I don't know if this is like a step down for Sammy.
It depends how he's going to be used in Ring of Honor, because we've seen with like Mark Briscoe's title reign, Ring of Honor seemingly, just as a viewer of the wrestling, doesn't really matter too much because it's never really referenced on TV. Oh, there's a pay-per-view coming up this week. Whoops, let's have a match there. So if Sammy Guevara is going to go in there and get more eyes on Ring of Honor and is referenced on maybe AEW, not like centrally, but just in passing. Look what Sammy G's doing over here, because he is a well-known name. I guess it's a good thing for him to be maybe established as a main eventer in Ring of Honor before coming back to AEW. I don't know.
That's a very fair point, because as well, Tony Khan has been speaking recently more about, hasn't he, like making Ring of Honor more central or more relevant again, and yeah, that would make sense. I'm not asking
for the titles to come on AEW TV. That's a bad thing in my opinion. But just saying like, oh, look at this thing we have over here.
Have some regular stars there who are Ring of Honor stars for a bit, and yeah, I know what you mean. Elsewhere, All In's on the horizon, obviously, at Wembley Stadium, and on AEW's YouTube channel, there was a recent revelation by Bryan Danielson. He said that his doctors advised him not to wrestle in the lead up to All In, which has since been confirmed by Fightful Select as a legitimate story, not just kayfabe.
Yeah, it's a legitimate story. Fightful are saying there have been some heavy... Whoops, my page is fallen over. There have been some heavy restrictions put on him, Bryan Danielson, by AEW doctors leading into the main event at All In. AEW sources confirmed to us that Danielson was beat up as one would expect. However, the plan has long been to get him in the main event of AEW All In, although they've prevented him from participating in some things they were originally planning along the way.
His contract is up on Thursday, which he has stated, but plans are in place for him to continue with AEW and work numerous dates past that time, including, of course, All In. Going forwards, though, he will have a backstage role and be a part-time in-ring wrestler if he wrestles at all after his AEW deal ends. Now, I've got a weird theory, right? All of this seems pretty much to suggest that he will not be beating Swerve Strickland at Wembley.
I would agree. Because how could he if he's going to be having limited dates afterwards and also be going to a backstage role?
But then this reminds me of something that happened to Bryan Danielson just before he went to WWE, and he'd already signed his contract and everything, and it was his last match in PWG, proper indie in that, and he had a title match which everyone was like, well, he's definitely going to lose this title. He's definitely going to lose his title shot. He's off to WWE, and he won the belt and vacated it. Ooh. And I thought, and now I don't want to say that Bryan Danielson's. I'm not suggesting he's lying about his health or anything. Obviously, he is banged up after all his body's been through and everything. But I just wonder if there's that glimmer of hope that he will beat Swerve at Wembley. I'm happy either way, I think.
It's an interest, especially after Jeff Jarrett's promo. You imagine there's a little bit of realism in there. If you want to go all in, you got to go all in. Yeah. No matter how your body's feeling, go all in.
I think Bryan said that he'll have an announcement to make this week on Dynamite, which I reckon, do you think it'll be like, if I don't win, I'll retire or something like that?
If I don't win, I'll set myself on fire.
If I do not.
Just like his former tag team partner, Kane.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for watching this video. We'll have more news later on today as well at cultaholic.com and on this very YouTube channel as well. Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments section down below. I've been Jack, this has been Ross, and we'll see you very soon.